everyone, it's Owens here from TripleSleeveTCG. Today we're going to be going over a deck profile for standard Riviere. So Riviere is a powerhouse in the meta. We all know it's taken Japan by storm. It's going to be everywhere for Springfest. And why is it strong? It's a force deck that can re-ride a lot of times and create insane pressure, really without a lot of resources. It's also very consistent because we have the Riviere ride chain. So let's get into the deck profile. So for our starter, we have Riviere. You have to play this card because it Soul Blasts off the grade 1. Trigger lineup, we're playing 6 draw. You want to be filtering to your pieces. You also discard a lot in the deck, so discarding a 5k draw is just very good for your value. Crits are there for your pressure. Hitting a crit off Riviere feels great, especially going first. And we also play 6 crit just for another reason, which I'll explain later. And finally, 4 heal, very staple. Heals are busted. For grade 1, we're playing 4 Riviere. This card says Soul Blast 1. You can ride it on a grade 1 to check top 7 and add any Riviere to hand. Then if you Soul Blast the starter, you get to draw a card. So getting this card off turn 1 is absolutely insane. You're getting a targeted Riviere search. You're getting a draw. It's great. It also builds your soul and gives you the ability to call it out off the grade 2 if you open well. Next, we're playing 4 Aurora. So Aurora just says when you ride it or when placed, you draw 1, ditch 1. So if you're riding it off of a starter, you basically got to draw 2 cards and pitch 1. It's really good, especially if you open Riviere or even if you need to dig towards Riviere. So it's there to really get you to your combo pieces faster, discard what you don't need. It's just great, honestly. It's a consistent card. Then finally, we're playing 4 Steza. I opted to play 12 grade 1s in this list just because of how strong the Riviere grade 1 is. And oftentimes, I want to be opening with my choice of being able to ride a different grade 1, then ride Riviere to get maximum value. This card can also be used to fish for your pieces, no pun intended. Or how do I say, retire it after boost to draw a card. If you have a grade 3, you can bottom deck it to draw 1 for a counterblast. So this card just creates good value, especially in your push turns. If you Soul Blast a grade 3 as well and you have a Caro for next turn, then you can recycle Riviere that way. Grade 2s, we are playing, of course, for Riviere. She has an ability when your Vanguard Riviere is placed, then you get to restand it. It's a once per turn on rear. And we can ride her from hand if we have a grade 2 to draw 1 and call out 2 of the grade 1 Riviere. I don't get that effect off too much, but when you do get it off, it's extremely powerful. And having a 10k back row is just very strong in certain matchups. Next, we have 4 Caro. Very obvious addition. It's really good card, one of the best in the set. Soul Blast 2, on place, search your deck for a copy of your Vanguard. You're searching Riviere literally every time. And then finally, we have 4 of this grade 2. So a lot of people opt to run Coral. And while Coral's a great choice for a grade 2 because it can Soul Blast your Riviere to keep doing the combo, this deck actually focuses on something a little bit different. So she says when your Vanguard Riviere is placed, gain 10k. It's not once per turn, so you have her out during your Riviere re-ride turn push, and she can get really huge. She can get between 40 and 50. If you hit trigger, she's going to get even bigger. So it's just a very solid card that gives you that last attack you need. Sometimes in Riviere, you're just a little bit short for the kill, but this really gets you there. And especially once you're done using it, you just intercept with it. So it's a very solid card that adds a lot of value. Now for grade 3s, obviously, heart and soul of the deck for Riviere. So Riviere says on place, counterblast 1, ditch a card to draw 2. So not only are you filtering, you can also pitch a Riviere card that you can use off our other grade 3 to put it back into hand. But her most important effect that makes the deck is after it swings, you can discard 2 cards from your hand to ride a Riviere from your hand to stand. This does not include just the grade 3. You can ride a grade 2 or a grade 1. But we're pretty much going to go for the grade 3 every single turn until, if we have a possible lethal, if we know our opponent's hand, we can ride into grade 2 or grade 1 to finish it off. The card that you ride, though, does get -1 drive, but you're already creating so much value off of your early game engine and off of just hitting triggers, really. If you discard a card, if you hit a draw trigger, you're just making it right back. Plus her first skill will get you more hands, so you're really not losing cards off this skill. Next, we're playing 3 of this girl. Her ability is, it's a hard once per turn. If your Vanguard is top idle Riviere, you can ditch her and add a Riviere from drop zone to soul. If you put a Riviere into soul, it goes to your hand. So a lot of combos people do is you can Riviere, the next turn you can Soul Blast the Riviere, use her, and pick that grade 3 Riviere back into your hand. You can also pit the starter if you're playing it early. If you have a bunch of these, you can just Soul Blast your Rivieres and add them all to hand just for card advantage and shield value. Or for discard cost even. Great card. You can also be a target off of Steza. If you're playing like a mirror or against a deck where you need a lot of hand or shield power, a good play is definitely just pitching her on the first Riviere turn, getting a Riviere from drop into hand, and then you can Steza her back and draw 2 cards. So it definitely gives you the defensive options you need for the next turn. Finally, we have our Spice. We're playing 2 Eve. And Eve, honestly, has put in so much work for me in this deck. So the thing that I'm doing different from other Riviere lists is other Riviere lists are playing Coral in an attempt to simply just loop the grade 3. But most of the time, I'm able to resolve a lot of Rivieres early. So what I do is I'll just push as hard as I can, use up all my Rivieres, so I'm sitting at 3 to 4 markers, and then you just finish the game on her. You're really not placing a lot of board. You have your 2 front row units that you can just intercept with, and then she can just close the game super easily. So her effect, she has a not once per turn axe skill to where we can check the top card of our deck and call it to an open rear. So generally with Riviere, you don't really have a lot of board. Sometimes you will have, 2 front row cards, putting in work, a back row here and there, but most of the time you're not really dropping your hand. These are enough to do the work. So on your last Riviere turn, all you have to do is intercept with these. Next turn, ride her, gain another force marker. Then you can literally call an entire board out of nothing. Her other effect, which is also insane, it's a continuous. Your trigger effects are doubled. Only crits are doubled, but the power is doubled for all triggers on both your and your opponent's turn. So you can sit at low damage against certain matchups, even against Excel. If I'm sitting at 3 or 4 against Excel, I hit 1 damage trigger, I go to 34k. So honestly, it's ridiculous. Like Excel matchups, you do great. Anything that clears board, Hyuga clears board, you can just build your whole board back. Narukami, Kagero, you don't have to worry about it because you'll just build a board every turn. So she is just insane, especially on aggression. If I have to even drop my whole hand, like Riviere mirrors are very much us trying to just slaughter the other person faster. So we can do our push turn. If we don't kill them, then they're going to push us. We just drop our whole hand that we amassed and then ride her, create a full board, and then just stomp them. So it gives you the momentum, especially when you run out. And then we can also focus just to push all the Rivieres in one turn and then leave her for the finisher. So we're playing her at 2 because we go through the deck so much to where more than 2 is just like, you don't need it. Riviere, we play 6 draw. We have all the draw functions. We have Aurora. We have Steza. We have Riviere's skill. We have so many ways to filter through our deck that in the matchups that we need her, we can find her. And if we don't need her, we'll just discard her for the many discard outlets we have in the deck. So overall, guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to TripleSleeveTCG and let me know your thoughts on the deck. Thank you, guys.